Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. It's my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hello there, good people. Hello there, good people. I am so excited to have you join us for another episode of The Real Journey of Entrepreneurship. My name is Anita Pearson. I'm the founder and CEO of 11375. We're here to be your one-stop business resource solution within the New York State area. So excited to have you join us today because I am bringing along a friend that I felt like I've known for years. And it's just one of those things that when you ask for something, you never know exactly what's going to be in the package until you open it. And I am really grateful to have really got to really know this beautiful soul the way I've gotten to know her, and looking forward to developing more of a deeper ties and relationship. No, I'm not talking about myself. Thank you. No, but I am talking about a hospitality industry veteran who, throughout uh, 4 months, served up some good, delicious brookies. They're indescribable. You're just going to have to go taste them for yourself. But just know that I told you here first, they are awesome. Diana is and brings the sauce, literally and figuratively, to Long Island City businesses and surrounding, serving up delicious food, bringing love and soul to all that come and interact, but also just a level of expertise that's undeniable. Let me just bring Diana on. I don't care what you say. I just the brookies. I'm not saying that's all she has, but yeah. Hi Diana. Good day. How are you, beautiful?
Hi, Anita. Thank you for that warm and such a descriptive introduction. You're going to make me cry, which is usual when we are together.
You'll discover why. That's how it ends. We just cry.
Yes, that's all we do is we eat brookies and we cry and then we eat more brookies.
That part.
But thank you for having me today. I just any excuse to catch up with you and see your face and hear your voice is good enough for me to be wherever you are.
You know what? I appreciate that. I'm gonna accept all that goodness from Diana. So, Diana, tell us more in depth about who you are, right? As founder and CEO, and how did you get your start in this space?
Well, I am the daughter of immigrants. My parents came here from the Philippines in the 1970s and 1980s. My mother came first, my father followed. They have a really unique story, and they found each other, they fell in love, and I came along. And like I don't want to say every, but like most immigrants that come here, they had a vision and a dream to, make life better. They came from my mother especially came from very humble beginnings. My father, not so humble beginnings like you would think, but still from a third world country, from another place that was not here. They both came here to an unfamiliar place and really lived out their quote unquote American dream. And I was fortunate to be a part of it. You know, educated here, raised here, but also um, very ingrained in my Filipino roots, which was very important to them as well. And so it's really fun and unique to be from two separate worlds. It's also sometimes difficult because I don't feel like I quite fit in either fully. Um, but that's a separate topic for a separate time. But what's really great is I found my own path. Um, they wanted a traditional upbringing and go to college, get a secure um, get a secure career, job, live a simple, humble, happy life, and rinse and repeat. And I said, that sounds great, but what if we shake it up a little bit? And so you shake all you want, but you go shake it in your own world. Um, so I said, all right, that's fine with me. I'm going to figure this out on my own. So, I did appease them. I went to college, I studied hard, I worked, but I fell in love with the hospitality industry when I broke their rules and got a part time job while I was studying.
Okay.
Because, while my parents said to me, when you go to school, your only job is to go to school. And when you're done with school, that's when you work.
Mm.
And I saw all my friends who got part time jobs, whether out of necessity or, just out of wanting to and whatever it was. And I said, I want to do that too. That looks super fun. It's a reason for me to get out, socialize. I'm not an athlete, like I'm not a team sports type of person. So I said, let me go get a job with my friends. What's better than hanging out and getting paid for it?
Yeah.
Um, and so I truly fell in love with hospitality. And that carried me through all of my career shifts. I did work in corporate for a while, I earned my MBA. But at the end of the day, I always found myself either sitting at a bar or behind the bar or waiting a table or cleaning a table or eating at a table, not in my home. And so I decided when my position was eliminated at my corporate job that I was going to use this as my excuse to go back and say, oh, well, what am I going to do? I've got to work. Um, I feel like a lot of my friends who were in my position, not took advantage, but, used that time, collected unemployment, collected their thoughts on what to do next. And I said, nah, I'm going to go back to waiting tables. I'm going to go back to, serving drinks. I really find joy in that for some reason. And that's exactly what I did. And so my journey brought me to entrepreneurship because, as they say, rose through the ranks um, and worked my way through, I saw parts of the business that I truly loved. And then I saw parts of the business that I could understand why people would want to stay away from our industry and not be a part of it. And so I took the parts that I loved and I enjoyed and said, what can I do with this so that, I can work for myself, do what I love for the community I want to build and do it my way on my time. And, that led to me starting to cook and bake. And I had picked up some tricks along the way from working in restaurants, and working with some really incredible chefs, um, and being a part of, large events, small events, all of it. And, I started to experiment. I started to like be like, hey, I just made these cookies. Do you want to try them? Or, looking online and seeing like, is there a place to sell what you make? Um, and this was like right around the time of Airbnb coming out and all of these new platforms. And I found one where you could cook dinner and post up like tickets and sell seats to your dinner in your home or in whatever venue, and people would book it.
Hmm.
And have a table of strangers where your only common ground was to eat this food. And I must have hosted, over 100 of these. And every single one of them was such a great and unique experience that I still, and this was like in 2014 and 2015, I still keep in touch with some of those people that came to my dinner parties then.
Hmm.
Like strangers from different lands all over the place. And, you know, was it exactly legal or by the book? I don't know. Probably not. I know my apartment building tried to like scold me for it and all this other stuff. And I was like, I'm just throwing a dinner party. Like, are you going to get mad at everybody else that throws a dinner party? And, this whole thing. But that's basically kind of how that started. And then I took it a step further. And when I would prepare food for myself and my husband, we'd have so much of it left that I would be like, hey, does anyone want some food for tonight? Or anyone want to try this? And, they were on the healthier side. And so one of my gym trainers was like, why don't you just start doing it as meal prep?
Hmm.
Make like prepared meals during the week for, that can last 3 to 5 days and get some people to sign up. And I was like, that's a really good idea. And then that January, they started this holistic gym challenge, like a lot of fitness companies do. And they made it like a 30-day challenge where you would follow the whole 30 diet for 30 days and attend 30 workout sessions and classes
Okay.
at the gym. And the biggest challenge of Whole 30 is that you really do have to make everything yourself. And so the gym was like, actually, we have someone who can make the meals for you. And that's really what kind of kicked it off. And
Wow.
that was, yeah, that was in January of 2018. And so I did it for a couple months. And then I officially like decided that year that I was going to quit my job and this is what I was going to do full time.
Okay.
I know that was a lot.
No, I'm just
I'm
trying to figure out where I will go with this because
Mhm.
all of it is relevant and all of it is equally delicious, right?
Yeah.
So, man. Okay. So you did a couple of things that I thought were really courageous. One, you wanted to hang out with your friends, right?
Mhm.
And so you, instead of just focusing in on school, you decided that I want to go hang out with my friends and discovered that this was a space that you had a high appreciation for. So that's kudos to that because a lot of us are very scared to be courageous in doing making risk on the pathway that they're supposed to be. So salute to you on that. The
Okay.
second thing I discovered in your story was that you did not officially go to culinary school.
Mm-mm.
And the food is good. So I'm going to say that just right now. And the food is good. But you
Mhm.
did train, gain skills in the industry.
Yes,
That's what I heard.
I did. I was fortunate enough that I was able to learn from people I worked with, and then obviously popularity of YouTube,
Mm,
watching videos. And I did sign up for, recreational courses.
mm,
And I did complete I think it was like a 56-hour or something like that, pastry intensive,
okay.
just to get the basics of pastry. Because I said, who knows, maybe one day I'll open a bakery.
Yeah.
hmm.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So you do have training, but you didn't go to any of the top culinary schools.
No.
And while I'm elevating this, right? So
Mm.
while
Hmm.
what Diana brings a unique pathway, right? Everyone's pathway on the creation of their journey is for them, for you to have the courage to create. Um, and I want to also lend in a space a little bit differently as well. So after you decided to open up your spot,
Hmm.
why Long Island City?
So I live here. I live across the street actually from the cafe. Um, I actually had my eye on that cafe since we moved here.
Mm,
Because like I said, I was like, who knows? Maybe one day I'll open a bakery. And I showed it to my husband and said that space would be the perfect little shop. It's small enough, it's manageable. Coming from a hospitality background that would have 2-3 day parts in a day of service, full scale, full service. That's not what I wanted to do if I were to ever have my own place.
mm,
And so, I and like most entrepreneurs and most people, I just dreamt it. I said, this is, if I had to write down exactly what I wanted, that space would be part of it.
mm,
And like the psycho I am that you've come to know over the last 14 weeks of 10 KSB, with the tenacity and will and forcefulness, I watched that place for 4 years turn over into something else. Actually, no, for 6 years, turn over to something else, something else, something else. And I finally said, hey, they look closed. One of my clients lived in that building. And I went up to him and I was like, I need to know everything about that space. And
mm,
about a week later, he put me in touch with the landlord, who was a private landlord. Um, and 3 weeks later, I signed the lease. Uh, so, I definitely dreamed about it and I thought about it. It's not like I truly put the wheels in motion, in the sense that, like, over those 6 years, I was like, I'm definitely going to get it. But it was one of those, what would happen if?
mm,
Why not ask those questions? Why not dream a little? Who could it hurt? And so, that's kind of how the cafe came to life. Also because I was cooking for so many in the community, um, but there was no place for them to come and see me or
mm,
buy things a la carte, because it was very structured, cooking out of a commercial kitchen where I need your order by Friday. Saturday, Sunday, I'm in the kitchen prepping, cooking, packing. Monday, I'm delivering all day or scheduling pickups or whatever else, right? So that there was no in between. Either you were ordering for that week or you weren't.
mm,
And so, people would ask me, are you ever going to open a place where I could just come in for a meal without having to, like, commit for a whole week or decide, ahead of time, because I travel for work. And if I'm not in town, I don't want to waste the food. But I won't be around on Monday to accept the delivery or pick it up. I get back on Wednesday. Or I'd have people who'd say, oh, my plans changed this week. Is it too late for you to accept an order? Do you have anything left over that I can order? So, that's really what got the wheels turning, that maybe I should open something if it's the right one.
That's courage. That's courage. Um, and vision. You kept, so one of the things that when I'm coaching, I really emphasize the importance of visioning your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have a vision, you have something to work towards. You have something to, you know, um, taste, feel. Like it all starts with how you are visioning. And what's so courageous to me was that, whether you were out sipping tea or happened to walk, whatever it was, you were like, I'm just going to take this risk. Like, what will happen if? I love that, because
Mm-hmm.
it opens up the possibilities to say that you are going to take a bet on your existence and try this thing that theoretically you had the data already based upon your experiences with other folks. You had it already. You just needed to step into that vision. But if I may, I want
Mm-hmm.
to share, and do not, if you're watching this by video, do not lick the screen. I just want to say you've been warned. Um, this is just a small sample of
Mm-hmm.
what's there. Um, Without us thoroughly licking the screen, maybe because I am hungry, but it's also good. Can you describe what we're seeing on your website? What does that look like for a meal? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, just
So we serve an array of, cafe fare, and some of it is influenced by my background. So we have a lot of Filipino flavors. And so right there, we've got some like a build your own taco kit, which we have live for Super Bowl Sunday is one of our specials.
mm,
Something that we have every day at the shop is a rice bowl,
mm,
which was on the first panel, and it's right there on the bottom left corner.
okay.
Yeah, it's a rice bowl where we have garlic rice, your choice of chicken, pork, or veggies. And then we top everything with our homemade pickled vegetables and sesame ginger slaw.
Mm.
And if you like things spicy, we also make our own mango habanero hot sauce. And, you know, that's just a sample of what you can pre order on our website, call, walk up to the window. Um, yeah, we're there 7 days a week serving this stuff up. So we have a savory menu, and then we also have a sweet menu, as
Okay.
you mentioned, with our brookies and our bread pudding, which you've had some familiarity with over the last few months.
So, yeah, we became, it became like a thing in our cohort, a good
Hmm.
thing. But that is just like a sampling of, what you're offering. Are
Hmm.
there any additional things that we should be aware of, just in terms of your offerings and um, things of that nature?
Um, a lot of what we do, I mean, everything is made in house.
Mm,
Our salad dressings, sauces, all of our baked goods, are made in house. And so we really take pride in what we make. And yes, you know, taste is subjective. So we know that not everyone is going to love everything that we offer, and that's okay. Um, and of course, we're human, so there will be days that maybe something isn't up to par, and if you bring it to our attention, we're super grateful. because we want to make everything right. Um, so I think that's really what makes us super unique, is that we strive to always put out a very good product. Um, but if we are, you know, if there's a day that it's off, we own it and we rectify it, because that's the only way we're gonna get better. Um, and we do a lot of catering, a lot of pre-orders. That's where we thrive. Like just today alone, we had a 12 dozen cupcakes go out this morning before 9 o'clock. There's a lot of birthday celebrations today. Um, and the way that our cafe is set up, so I don't think I touched this yet, but we opened in November of 2019. And so I'm not sure if you guys know, but that was a great time to open a business, especially a product and service based business, where you rely on people and people to be out to come see you. But the one thing that has kept us going, and the one thing that we really do pride ourselves on, is our community connection. Because there's no way that a 4-month-old business, in in the middle of a global pandemic, could have lasted and grown 4 years and counting now without the support and the buy-in of our entire community. And so that is what is so important to me. And that's, aside from the quality of food and service that we provide, that is the one thing I do pride myself on, is our community connection. We love our community so much. It's like I can't walk down the street without saying hello to like all the faces that I see. And it's a really special place that we've built, where we get to celebrate birthdays. Like I said, we have all these cupcakes going out this morning, but what people don't realize is that some of our clients, I have been catering for them since before those kids were born, and then have watched these kids come to life, literally, and now get to be a part of it, where some of these kids in the neighborhood don't know life without us, which is really special and wonderful. And that's really what keeps me going and makes me want to keep doing this, because it's our that's part of our legacy. And it's not just about the food, it's not just about the people, it's about like that, it's about being a part of that celebration, and it's about being, it's like the memory, I'm like at a loss for words.
So it's almost like, what I'm hearing is you are creating a community, really a circle of life, in a community that you're creating, because, you are centered in a space where it's community centered, it's human focused. And when you think about what that looks like overall, years from now, I got my cupcakes and my birthday cakes from this specific location, and they were good. And while you're on a beach somewhere, hanging out as you supposed to be doing at some point, you will have created these beautiful and contagious memories. When I say contagious, it's joy. It's like I remember when you smashed the cupcake in my face. Why? It will be connected as a part of your, cycle.
Yeah.
Which leads me to this follow-up question, right?
Yes.
So you mentioned that you started your business that we all became aware of in a very challenging time. You didn't know it was coming. None of us did. But it was so without reliving, that was a challenging time. How did you said community, but in terms of like business planning, pivoting, that was the
Mhm.
buzzword. How did you switch like that so that you are able to, be around now after
Mhm.
that, hopefully we never ever see that again.
Right. Um, well, the one saving grace that we had was we have a takeout window. And so that allowed us to stay safe and
Mm,
open
mm,
when everyone else around us was forced to close. Um, so we were able to practice, the social distancing with our guests, and because we had this magical window. Um, for our meal prep services, we partnered with different agencies and organizations, um, because we already had the model of making these meals and distributing them. And so rather than just focusing on private clients and homes, we said, what underserved communities are there that we can help to bring good food to? Seeing what the pantries were giving out, um, it was devastating. Boxed dry foods, cans of beans. What? How is a person supposed to nourish themselves completely and keep themselves healthy during this really unsure time with a box of pasta and a can of beans? And so we started collecting those things and saying, trade them in with us. We'll prepare full meals for you
mm.
and bring them to you, or have them ready here to pick up. And so we started partnering with different mutual aids, organizations, you name it. And so every day, at minimum 100 meals, at maximum 500 meals,
Wow.
going to hospitals where there was no cafeteria service, going to, senior care centers that were in the middle of food deserts, and you have these seniors who they can't order fresh direct.
Mm.
They don't have that ability, or, knowledge of the technology or anything like that. So we were taking the overage from City Harvest. I remember getting like 300 pounds of cabbage and turning it into like soups and stir fries and sending it all around. So that is really what kept us alive and kept us going and gave us purpose every day, to say we're not just here, for coffee and cupcakes. As much as we love being here for coffee and cupcakes, we really want you to understand that we're here for your benefit, more so than ours. And so for 142 days, day and night, I worked, um, opening and closing that cafe just to make sure that we were there, to get these meals out. And that was yeah, that was fun. um, and then, as restrictions started to change and all the pivoting was happening, we built the outside seating. We were able to, kind of acclimate ourselves to whatever was happening around us, um, and we just kept it going ever since. Crazy, right?
No, that was intentional for you to experience that.
Mm.
That's how I look at it now, because
Hmm.
you can now share, realistic tips on like what was worse than I don't know what could be worse, but that was terrible what we all experienced. But you were able to shift in business for success because you already had probably a system written down, even though it may not have been completely written down, but
Hmm.
you had a process available that you were able to transition smoothly. And you had a window, like,
Hmm.
that made it, easier for you to still, navigate or ease community concerns about safety. And so that's
Hmm.
that's beautiful, even though it um must have been something, right?
Oh.
And I'm saying it like I wasn't there, but I'm not in your industry, but it was just
Yeah.
tough. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, for some people, they would say we were their only human interaction that day
Mm.
that wasn't on a screen.
Oh boy.
Um, and we had parents coming to us saying, "Hey, would you consider doing kids meals? Because I'm home with my kids all day who are on a screen for school. I'm on a screen for work. I can barely feed myself. I have to feed them to keep them alive. Can you help us?" And that's literally like how we launched a different part of our business,
Mm.
because we started doing meals for kids. When school started to open up, some of them had lost their vendors.
Mm.
Some vendors weren't back to work yet. And so we were able to provide meals to the schools, and still are, for learning centers that are
Wow.
close to us. So, it was just really, part of it is right place, right time kind of thing. Part of it is, ask those questions, try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, who knows what can happen from there, right? So, I'm one of those people that's always going to try to take the risk.
Mm.
You know, like, is the risk worth the reward? We're never going to know unless you actually do it.
And so, which leads me to guidance and
Mm.
tips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because um, you've experienced some, even though it's a short official window of being in business. If someone wanted to say, you know what, I want to open up a little cafe, or I want to open up, a very large, restaurant. What advice would you give?
Well, number one, whether it's little or big, large scale, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
just know it's going to take just as many hours and just as much work, whether it's an 8-seat type of place or no seat type of place,
Hmm.
or an 800-seat type of place. Um, because, you know, working for yourself, um, is always going to be more hours and more work in that sense. Um, but again, it's so cliche to say, but if you really truly love what you do, it doesn't always feel like work. Um, and so, for anyone that wants to open their own place, just know, yes, you are going to have to sacrifice, and it's going to be a lot of time, especially in the beginning, getting it all set up. Um, you know, because there's paperwork and permits. There's menus, there's training, getting the people on board, getting them, getting your processes down, getting your execution and your flow and your operations. It's a never ending beast. And but you can create something so great and beautiful. Um, but it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be overnight. And it's going to be a lot of trial and error, because as much as you plan and say, okay, I want it to flow like this, once you start doing it, you're going to see, oh, maybe it would work better this way. Maybe I should move this over here. And so it's always going to change. It's always going to change. And you just have to adapt and be able to explain those changes and why we're changing and how we're changing to those who it affects, both your customers and your team. It's a lot of communication.
So
Mm.
Diana just mentioned a couple of things, which I'm also going to, pop on the screen, but I'm going to read it because I take notes too, and I learn. That you have to know that it's going to take many hours in this specific space, whether you have a small or a large scale restaurant. There's dedication that is required. If you love what you do, it doesn't necessarily feel like work. And that's true, I believe, across any industry. Sacrifice is needed and necessary, and getting it off the ground takes time, but you have to be willing to adapt. I also want to add personally the importance of your mindset throughout this process. We are joking, we are laughing, but being in this space, it does take a lot of out of you mentally, physically. So having a group of people or people that you can, touch base with, rely on. What we discovered, one another, but we also now have a deeper squad. Diana and I recently completed the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Accelerator. Fun fact about Diana and I is that we were supposed to not be in this cohort. We were supposed to be in another cohort.
Mm-hmm.
But as things are supposed to be, we wound up being in the cohort because we deferred because of, whatever challenges we were experiencing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you, I remember praying and asking for just people that are in business, and it didn't necessarily matter to me at the time that they were in different industries, but I just wanted to have different conversations. um, we left the cohort in December of 2023, and I personally believe that I have one of the dopest squads that will help me to you know answer things. I'm not afraid to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
We establish and are still developing, how we're going to define our relationships. And I think it's a beautiful thing. So I'm saying it's very long winded, primarily because, Diana mentioned um, in her community in Long Island City that, she created a network or a community of clients that are able to support her business and spread the word. But for us as business owners, we still need advisors. We still need, you know they didn't pay me my check, that type of conversation, to be able to encourage us to say that it happened to me too. Let's look at your cash flow. What does that look like? Do you have, those type of conversations that we are now have the courage to have with one another. So um get you a squad. Don't try to take from mine though.
I mean, it's so true. That's the other thing that was, I think, eye opening,
Mhm.
because entrepreneurship can be a very lonely road. Um, because no one understands your business as much as you do, and no one cares about it as much as you do. And not everyone understands it because it's it's something so personal, and something that you're building with your own two hands and your own resources. And you know, again, as much as people want to help and try to help, unless they are in it themselves and know what it's really like, you're not speaking the same language. Because there's a difference from someone who can close their laptop on a Friday and not think about it again until Monday, versus, you put 39 of us in a room, and for 10 hours, it's still not enough time for us to discuss all of the things that we need to discuss, because we're finally in a room where everyone speaks the same language. So that's the other part of entrepreneurship that I think people take for granted, is that, oh, you own your own business, how great, you can make your own hours, you can do whatever you want. And it's, you know I, in a sense, yes, but also I'm always working. I'm always working. I don't say that negatively. I say it because it's true. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, it always ties back to me and my business. And, someone always wanting to hear about it. and someone always wanting to learn about it and having questions and whatever else it is. So, that's one thing you really have to understand is you cannot walk away from it and not be attached to it at any point, unless you're really going to shut it down, burn it down, or close it. Like,
That,
that's it.
that part. And right now we're not ready. So
No.
we're not ready.
Mm-mm.
We are
Mm-mm.
just getting started. But I also wanted to um, just put a comment and something that you mentioned at the beginning of our discussion about having vision.
Mm-hmm.
When you have vision on your life, on your business, you're not satisfied until you've accomplished that goal. And so you're consistently working to see that vision come to pass. So when you see us on our process, you see us on our journey, we may not always share what it is, not that we don't want to, but we see the vision very clearly. And there's nothing that's going to stop us until we see it come to pass. So, on that note, Diana,
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple of questions as we wrap up.
Sure.
You are phenomenal.
Thanks.
Um, these are fun questions, like, do you prefer shoes or sneakers? What's your preference?
Oh, dunks for life.
That is term for, please tell them what dunks are.
I mean, do I really have to? Everyone should know what dunks are.
No,
Um,
no, I've the new age. No, mm-mm.
oh, well, I mean, they are just the best, most classic, dope sneaker on the market. I mean, I know there's Jordans, but for me, dunks are it.
See, that
Yep.
part. See,
Hmm. Hmm.
pizza or burgers? What's your preference?
Oh God. Oh my God. I don't know. I love them both equally.
Okay,
I do. I
that's
really
very
do.
fair. That's very
Hmm.
fair. In 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. Little chef, little cafe. What's the
Hmm.
impact that you're going to be making? What deep waves are you planning on making in the space where you are at the moment? Or it could be worldwide.
Um, I really hope we have in 3 years another 2 to maybe 5 locations, whether those are, cafes or commissary kitchen or, something. But growth is on the horizon. That is part of the plan. Um, that's another thing about entrepreneurship is, you think like, oh, I'm going to open this business and it's going to be enough. But it's never enough because again, entrepreneurs are dreamers and I dream of world domination, one cupcake at a time.
And the
Um,
brookies. And the brookies.
yep, and the brookies, one cupcake, one brookie, just world domination.
So there you have it.
Hmm.
We have a very, very awesome. Diana, thank you so much. Please like, share, follow Little Chef Little Cafe. Check out the website, littlecheflittlecafe.com. And I want to share just a space of gratitude. Thank you for your time. And, just making me happy on this day. I was a little tired, but I'm feeling the energy through the screen. I very much appreciate your time. But again, Little Chef, littlecafe.com, social media, like, share, follow, plug, but also more importantly, in my opinion, is check out the cafe in person. I know taste is up to the individual, subjective, but I'm gonna tell you, as a foodie, it's good. You have someone that you can tell when someone cooks with passion versus someone who just cooks just because. It tastes different and it goes down easier on the gut. So love you so much, Diana. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
your time. And again, we'll be in touch again
Yeah.
soon.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Anita.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. So there you have it, family. Diana's information. Um, you gotta just go. If you don't go there just for the food, go there and say hello to Diana if she's there. Um, the energy is very contagious, in which I vibe with. Diana's info again, Little Chef Diana. She's on Instagram, Little Chef, littlecafe.com. Just check them out. We do good work. But I also wanted to just elevate those tips again, because again, Diana said she said some gems, but it's knowing that this process, when you enter into this space of creativity, being an entrepreneur, we are creating and visualizing the dream that we want. It's going to take time. If you think that we're overnight success, 4 years, 6 years are considered overnight success. Yeah, there's viral opportunities, but there's still a process that it will happen, and it does take time for you to build your business. Be willing to sacrifice. Getting it off the ground takes an extreme amount of time. Having systems in place that will work to help you to grow your business, but be willing to adapt is what is critical. Those were some good tips. I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to share time and space with Diana. But you know what? I'm in business as well. So check us out at 11375.com. You can call us, email us. We are on the social platforms as well. Please like, share, and follow us at 11375.com. And so on that note, good friends, I am so glad to have had you join us today. Please spread the good message of Little Chef, Little Cafe, and also 11375. We are so excited to have you joined us today. Make sure you check us out for future events. Take good care. When I think about motherhood and the space of entrepreneurship, it is two of the most scariest things that anyone who has chosen to be a mom can do. I love being a mother. I love being able to smile, share, grow, have my CEO in the making, observe what it's like to be a business owner, to be able to use the things that are coming out of my mind and create, being in meetings, doing community work, and creating a space that we want to create for long-term wealth. Both are equally challenging. Both are equally scary, but the beauty about being in this space of duality lets me know that when I see her smile, when I see her laugh, when she challenges me to be a better person, I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Welcome to 11375. My name is Anita Pierce, and I am your Chief Experience Officer. At 11375, we offer strategic alignment solutions specific to you and your business goals, and also connecting everything with social impact. So if you are looking for a really amazing organization where we help you to focus your strategy and connecting it with social impact, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are on all the social platforms, and you can contact us at 11375.